MCAT 2017 Cram, Critical Analysis and Reasoning Skills, Flashcard Set 9.1, Post-colonialism in Papuan Culture. As you view the reading of this passage, you'll note highlighted selections of text. What I want you to do is garner meaning from these specific snippets in order to answer the foundations of comprehension questions that follow the passage. Okay? In order to successfully answer these questions, you'll be required to demonstrate that you know how to recognize the central theme, or you'll be required to interpret word choices made by the author. All right, so good luck and happy reading. Paragraph 1. Vincent Eri's novel, The Crocodile, is the coming-of-age tale of Eri, a member of the Turipi coastal people of the Gulf District of Papua, who reaches manhood against the backdrop of Australian colonial rule. This novel gives the foreigner encyclopedic information about commerce, education, and history of the tribe, about the vegetation and village life, about marriage customs and rituals. Indeed, much of the narrative is devoted to providing the reader with a thick description of Turipi customs and practices based in the village of Movi. Paragraph 2. Yet Eri's novel is much more than a fictionalized anthropological account of Turipi life. The Crocodile gives dramatic form to the devastating entry of white man's civilization into the Papuan universe and presents us with a society at the verge of disintegration. The narrative proceeds along two arcs. Arc meaning a curving trajectory or path, one relating to the tribal laws and their internal contestations, and the other, the decomposition of those already fluid social mores, the essential or characteristic customs and conventions of a community, by Australian colonialism. The first arc revolves around the mysterious death of Eri's young wife, Mituro, presumed to be taken and killed by the eponymous crocodile, and involves the complex actions and motivations of sorcerers, Meseri, men thought to be tribesmen from a neighboring clan. The second arc consists of the hardships endured by the Papuans under the Australian colonial government. They are exploited as domestic workers and as labor for government officers, Keops, who regularly patrol the interior in an effort to pacify and civilize the natives. The literary tension produced by the two narrative arcs constitutes the novel's profound critique of the effects of colonial rule. Notably, this is a novel where the enchanted world shares narrative space and ontological meaning related to ontology, and is the philosophical study of the nature of being, becoming, and existence, like why are we here on Earth, stuff like that. Reality with Euro-Australian colonial and capitalist realities. In its most commented upon scene, Eri wages an attack on the evil sorcerer Crocodile, where literal and metaphoric crocodiles are somehow the same, but having only injured the crocodile sorcerer, Eri remains confused about how to deal with the Meseri he holds responsible for his family member's death. He cannot pursue a traditional course of action, both because of his father's deaconship, the town church frowns upon such superstitions, and because white Keop law forbids primitive payback law. Paragraph 3. Significantly, Australian colonial laws are not the only authority Hori encounters. Despite Hori's suspicion of white ways, he comes under the spell of the white man's commodity culture on a visit to the colonial capital of Port Moresby. His father and uncle buy clothing and some canvas sail. In the process, suffering racial harassment from the white store clerk, the episode reveals both an enchantment with gleaming commodities and resentment at the racist colonial environment. Hori's uncle, meanwhile, astutely perceives the underlying relationship between things and labor in a colonial economy. White people are very clever, aren't they? They bring all these wonderful things here and also make the money that one needs to buy them. We've got to work for them to get the money to buy them with. The money economy thus functions to erode traditional trading and labor practices and deepen colonial authority. Vincent Eri's novel The Crocodile illustrates how Australian colonialism in Papuan A. reinvigorated local cultures by encouraging native, communal, and family values. B. asserted control through government and religious authority. C. established a strong national identity through a unified educational system. Or D. conquered Papua through the divide and rule colonial stratagem. Definitely press pause and open up a second window to view the reading of this passage in search of the text to support the correct answer choice. I'll give you a moment to think. All right. All right, so basically what we're doing here in this question is we're recognizing the central theme, okay? The passage describes how Kiat law did just the opposite of encouraging native communal and family values. So answer choice A would be incorrect, okay? There is no mention of a unified educational system or a divide and rule stratagem. The word stratagem meaning a plan or scheme, especially one used to outwit an opponent or achieve an end. Okay. And so answer choices C and D are out as well. So now for the obvious. In paragraph 2, the author writes that in addition to control through church deacons, the Kiat government officers closely monitor the physical environment. Thus, answer choice B is the correct answer choice. Asserted control through government and religious authority. All right? According to the passage, which of the following best describes the main goal of the crocodile? A. To catalog terrific customs and practices in the Gulf District of Papua. Definitely press pause and open up a second window if you need to in order to view the passage reading in search of the support for the correct selection. I'll give you a moment to think. All right. Okay, so what we're doing here again is recognizing a central theme. In paragraph 1, the passage opens by describing The Crocodile as a novel that gives, quote, encyclopedic information about commerce, education, and the history of the Turupi tribe, about the vegetation and the village life, about marriage customs and rituals. However, cataloging the customs of the Turupi tribe is not the main purpose of the novel, so answer choice A is wrong. The second paragraph immediately makes it clear, however, makes it clear by stating that the novel is more than a fictionalized anthropological account of Turupi life. This is a direct quote. And I proceed to discuss how the novel explores the effect of colonization. Okay, so that's why answer choice B is correct. But let's also see why answer choices C and D are wrong. So the exploitive and racist behavior of the Keops is described in paragraph 2 as well, where the passage describes how the Keops patrol the, quote, interior to pacify meaning to quell the anger, agitation, or excitement of the natives. They exploit the locals for cheap labor and disrespect already established customs and norms. However, the Keops are only one element of colonialism. The colonial economy as well, the colonial economy, the colonial economy, the rule of law, and the overall colonial dependency forced upon the people of Papua are also important themes that are highlighted in paragraphs 1 and 2. So let's do a check. We just established why answer choice C is wrong because of, the Keops are only one part. Now we're on D. So the purpose cannot be to show the difficulties of a newly colonized sovereign government, which is what answer choice D is saying, because the Crocodile takes place during the backdrop of, quote, Australian colonial rule. So this is kind of the opposite. That's why answer choice D is wrong. So the correct answer choice is answer choice B. To demonstrate the encroachment of colonial systems on the Turupi way of life. Okay. Following is not mentioned in the passage as having a negative effect on Papuan society. A. Keop justice. B. Labor practices. C. Traditional customs. Or D. Imported goods. Definitely press pause if you need to and open up a second window to view the passage reading and find the textual support for selecting the correct answer choice. I'll give you a moment to think. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're basically interpreting word choices. We're recognizing and interpreting word choices made by the author. Okay, so as for option 1, the negative effects of Keop justice, and option 2, the exploitative labor are both mentioned in paragraph 2. The Keops are government officers, exploit the native as domestic workers regularly, and they regularly, quote, patrol the interior in an effort to pacify and civilize the natives. Okay, so the negative effects of new goods, answer choice D, is discussed in paragraph 3 when Hori's uncle observes, quote, they bring all these wonderful things here, but also make the money that one needs to buy them. When the main character, Hori, tries to resolve a dispute, He is prevented from taking a traditional course of action by modern colonial laws and values. However, this does not suggest that traditional customs have a negative effect on society. So this one might be a little confusing, but the correct answer choice is answer choice C, traditional customs. Okay? All right.